Hey everyone, Shaedow here, and welcome to another Marvel Contest of Champions video. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at Nick Fury. I just took him to rank 5 as a 4-star, so I figure now is the perfect time. So the first thing we're going to do is take a look at his synergy bonuses. The first one, Nick's leadership. All hero champions, except Nick, gain a 10% attack rating. And this boost is doubled if Nick is dead. So something to bear in mind is that they need to have the hero tag. It's all hero champions, not all champions. Some people miss that. So if you have a hero champion, meaning he has the hero tag, and you want to make use of this synergy, bring Nick along and kill him off early, and you get 20% attack boost. All right? Now, this next synergy, Restoration Kit, this one is the one that was the most popular. It was this synergy that inspired people to go for him in the arena and to spend many units to try to get him out of the crystals. All right, so this synergy, all champions except Nick, if Nick is alive, once per fight, when a teammate is inflicted with a bleed, poison, or shock debuff, he will drop a restoration kit, purifying the debuff and regenerating 10% of their max health over 3 seconds. Now, the way this reads can be a little confusing. Yes, it says purifying the debuff, but they mention more than one debuff, okay, previously. Not only that, but in other areas of the game, it works in a similar manner as Nick worked all through the Contest Creator Program. So, say you're running full suicides. You have a poison debuff and a bleed debuff on you. Nick, with this synergy, was purifying both of them. No one thought anything of this because in other areas of the game, this kind of mechanic works in a similar fashion. But after the arena, after everyone spent and grinded, they said that was not intended. It was only intended to remove one, and he only removes the bleed. If you have both, he removes the bleed. If you don't have the bleed, then yes, he'll remove the poison. All right, so that's just something to bear in mind. I've made videos talking about that in the past. All right, next up, you have Strategic Sabotage. If Nick Fury is alive, the first 3 unblocked hits from the opponent have a 100% chance to be evaded. That could be interesting, especially if you play an intercept style. All right. Next up, Increase Firepower. If Nick is alive when the fight starts, he grants his teammates a buff, doubling their critical rating for 10 seconds. Nice little boost in the beginning. I'm not sure how useful I would find that. Contingency Plan. If Nick is alive, all Fury buffs have 20% increased duration, including his own. That can be very nice, very useful, okay? Depending on who else you have on the team, I'm thinking of Hyperion. This could be quite a game changer. Or maybe not a game changer, but very useful utility. All right, and then finally, Extreme Conditions. If Nick is alive once per fight, when a teammate is inflicted with any Cold Snap, Frostbite, or Incinerate effect, he will drop an Extreme Conditions kit, granting debuff immunity for 10 seconds. That can be very, very useful, depending on the encounter. All right, so now let's get into Nick's abilities. So first is his signature ability. Now, my personal opinion is that he needs to have this signature ability. All right, he needs to be awakened. Now, when Nick would be knocked out, his life model decoy is destroyed instead, and he returns to the fight with a permanent Fury debuff or Fury buff. They call it Fury's Fury buff and stun immunity. However, Nick loses his Infinity formula and begins degenerating, 3.89 at this level of his health. I don't know if it changes or not. I have to test that. Per second for the rest of the quest while above 30% max health. The destruction of Nick's decoy removes all effects and isn't affected by ability accuracy reduction, which means you're not going to be able to stop him from doing this. Now, this is huge, and you're going to see in the gameplay where I intentionally get beat up so that I can bring this out. Because that Fury, he does so much more damage. So yeah, I consider his signature ability very essential for this champion. You can play him without it, of course, but for me, it's essential. All right, so here's his ability, Battle Scars. When striking a bleeding opponent, Nick's critical rating is increased, and his attacks ignore 100% of physical resistance. So he's going to be doing a good bit of damage. While the opponent is not under the effect of a regeneration buff, all Nick's bleeds are 100% more potent. He is definitely one of the top bleeders. I haven't done any testing, but he is a bleed champion. All right, so bear that in mind. Ending a combo with a light attack, he's going to inflict a bleed. Landing any medium attack, he's going to inflict a bleed. Landing a heavy attack, he's going to inflict 3 stacks of bleed. All right, when he's hitting into auto block, he's stun immune, bye-bye Mordo, and has a 100% chance to inflict a bleed. You get the theme. He likes to bleed. Knocking down the opponent purifies Nick's non-damaging debuffs. All right, now you've got this internal bleed passive. When they get 8 stacks of bleed, their bleed effects are removed and replaced with a passive internal bleed effect which deals a lot of damage over 30 seconds. So one of the things that you'll see me doing is I'll fire off heavies because that does 3 stacks of bleed and it lasts a longer time than his normal bleeds. So I have a quicker time to get ramped up to the 8. All right. Now, while internal bleed is active, all the opponent's bleed debuffs increase in their duration per tactical charge. All right. What's a tactical charge? Let's move on. Nick starts the fight with 6 charges when fighting an Avenger. When Nick is struck, he has a 100% chance to gain 1 tactical charge, reduced to 25% against mutant opponents. So he'll gain them slower against mutants. While Nick is under the effects of a Fury effect, tactical charge durations are paused. Nick loses 1 charge every 6 seconds, decreasing to every 4 seconds, while at or above 10 total charges. Additionally, if the opponent performs a well-timed block, Nick loses 1 charge. Not so easy if Nick is stun immune. All right, so you can see here, he gains a few benefits from having charges. Over 5, his attacks cannot miss or be evaded. Very nice for fighting Spideys. And Nightcrawlers. Over 10 charges, Nick's Purify effects now target all debuffs. Remember before, it was only the non-damaging ones. Now, it's all of them. 15 or more, his attacks become unblockable. Very nice. Over 20, all charges are removed and replaced with a Fury's Fury buff, which grants a huge attack rating boost for 10 seconds. All tactical charge gains are doubled while Fury's Fury is active. That is huge. All right, and so here we can take a look at his special abilities here. Special 1, he gains 4 tactical charges. It disorients the opponent, which reduces their block proficiency by 50% and defensive ability accuracy by 70% for 8 seconds. Special attack 2 slashes his opponent, causes up to 4 stacks of bleed, and a 50% chance to stun the opponent for 3 seconds. The stun chance increases by a flat 10% for each of Nick's tactical charges. So, do a little math. If he has 10 charges when he fires off that special 2, he's going to get the stun. All right? And then finally, his special attack 3, he gains attack if Fury's Fury is active, and also if the internal bleed is active when he fires off that special 3. Okay, so that is Nick Fury. Now let's get into some gameplay. All right, so we're here in Realm of Legends facing Winter Soldier, and you can see that I am building up his bleed stacks. I'm firing off my heavy, so that's 3 bleed stacks per heavy, and boom, I did 2 mediums and got to 8 stacks, which turned it into an internal bleed, that passive that you heard us talking about when we went through his abilities. All right, so now what I want to show you guys is just his specials. All right, so the purpose of this particular fight, and it's not a full kill, but I wanted to show you, first of all, I wanted to show you his specials and his heavy so you can see his animations. Also, I wanted you guys to take note of the damage that he is able to do. You saw that he got stunned there. You remember there's a stun chance based on the tactical charges that he has. But look at the damage he is doing right now. This is the decoy. All right, we have not brought out the real Nick Fury yet. So for this first part, I show you all of his specials. Then I let myself die so that the real Nick Fury can come out, and then show you guys what his damage looks like afterwards. And it does ramp up quite nicely. All right, so that was his special 3. You saw it at the beginning of the video. And right now, I'm actually building up to a special 3 because I'm going to let him take me out, bring the real Nick Fury out, and then fire off his special 3 while Fury's Fury is active so that you guys can see what that damage looks like as well. And then we're going to finish off the video with a series of duels. All right, so you can see here, I'm letting him hit me. All right, watch his health. All right, now Fury is furious. All right, and you can see his health is starting to degen. It's going to go all the way down to 30%. I don't think he plays very well with suicides. I'm running suicides right now, but it seems like the best way to play him to bring out the most damage is to let the decoy die and then go for the attack. All right, so you can see how much his damage has ramped up here. Pretty impressive. All right, and this is just a 4-star. All right, so now we're going to go into a series of duels. The first duel will be with just the decoy. I don't try to bring out Fury, but for the rest of them, I do, and you'll see the difference.
Okay. You've made a mistake saying I cannot run this race. It's playtime. I'm gonna crush your face. This is not a phase. Hey guys, I know you feel that bass. Roll with that until you see my face. Rising from a thick layer of fog at midnight. There's a time and a place to kill it. I spill it. Leak documents from a flaming tongue. Rappers acting so saintly when not long ago you were taking cuz. And now they catch the aroma. Wonder what the kid is baking up. And a little secret ingredient they're needing is something for waking up. My flow was caffeine and I'm the black king of spades. Among smaller cards and that scream you hear is mad heat. I am the daddy of cracking the bones of the flashiest chic. No, let's give it. As I grow up in a robust prison, everything I think I need is already given. For some reason I am hardly living. Physical needs are what can't be controlled. Give a kid candy, take away his soul. Can't tell the difference between hot and cold. My senses are dipped and I'm sold. But as the credits start to roll, I wake up and I miss the movie. The people around me are swarming like they just saw something that's dooming. Now they're telling me that I miss a lot and I gotta go back and see it. Yet everyone who was watching came at that with a crooked demeanor. These subtleties and half-truths are running my country at large. Shipping this garbage by every ocean. I'm about to sink the barge. Health, war, famine, and money. Get rid of those and we have no country. What happened to thinking people love me? These relationships feel so ugly. It's like we're speaking on the surface, but something sounds scripted about all the verbiage. Like everything we think came from another person, and we didn't take time to think if it's worth it. To act as a service to only a few human perspectives. Now we got humanity's section by politics, culture, religion, perspective. None of us have accurate depth perception. It's been messed with and I feel headless. No wonder I'm trying to convert that dude in the uniform to a dead. Get this, my head is full of death cause it's a dead ship full of phantoms and redness on the walls from bloodshed. No angels left in heaven and in turn I'm the one they sent in. Close your eyes and get in. This is one hell of a head trip. Most isolated, now watch that echo. I'm isolated everywhere like presto. I don't really know how to keep a friend. Something that they don't get though. And that sparks my Roscoe. Now I'm f***ing with all your heads, yo. Through the scope rooftop and I'm bent low. Between heaven and ghetto. It appears that I'm on top now. Figured out there's layers to this. Applied to the cycle, now I can keep bright and vibrant. Flyness when I pipe these hits. And I like this shit. Feels good expelling this energy. Anyone who comes Ned's way looking for trouble is immediately gonna be sent to me. Something like a silent undertaker. I don't really need to do too much. Just sit here with the mirror to your face till you either decide to wake up or lose touch. I didn't come to make the choice for you. Cough if you choose not to make it. Excuse my hatred, I try not to say this. Just leave it for now and then use it verbatim. Try mates, tell me stay up. I extend the same love to the same ones. When a world made is filled with fake ones, settled in lakefronts, trying to shake up the whole scene. They lean on the things from the beams of the TV screens, latching on every single get rich scheme. That's not the dream, and they're taking yours free. Hey Spike, why the f you gotta go there? We bump your music when we're drinking and we kick it. Friends and family, drinking liquor, good spirits. A lot of people I know don't wanna hear this. You're really asking for it, sonny. I really don't wanna do it. You insist on doubting everything I say and challenging the movement. The troops are called in. I was going easy on them, now I'm all in. Think you're strong enough? Then take us all then. Put a mask over the Sultan. Somewhere dark we assault him. Kill the king, kill the prince, kill them all then. Open the doors to the children of the fallen. An army of dictators couldn't match my space invaders. Take them in the trachea, if not mindful of what they're saying. And I'm not playing, I know it sounds pretending. I might be quite pretentious, here's some knowledge I'm lending. My name withholds a legend of a king losing his head in. That's my definition of he who had descended.
Alright, we've come to the end of another video. Hopefully you enjoyed this one, found it informative. It's a little bit longer than I normally make these videos, but hopefully you find it helpful. But click like, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you thought about this video. Do you like Nick Fury? Do you have Nick Fury? Do you want Nick Fury? Take care, and you all have a blessed day.